EcoScope is it's a very exciting project. There's a lot of objectives and tasks that we've defined for this project, which are really cutting edge issues in both in terms of modeling ecosystems and trying to deal with management issues and scenarios or decision policy making.
For me, ecosystem-based fisheries management is basically looking at not just one species of fish, but all the different species of fish and all the things they eat and the things that eat them, as well as including the human impact. So including the fishermen, including the impact that fisheries has, but also the impact that the ecosystem has on fishers and society at large.
So I believe that the EcoScope platform is a system that will help us identify the patterns, the trends, the characteristics per ecosystem and give us the capacity to reach decisions that are based on this data for the first time, blending oceanographic, environmental, biogeochemical, climatic and fishery data and socioeconomic data in one unique system. The user will be able to analyze all these data sets and run models, numerical models on ecosystemic processes, giving the capacity to understand the processes that are hidden within each ecosystem, and also giving the capacity to run various scenarios. The most important from my side, advantage of this system is the capacity to understand the long-term effects in fisheries, especially under the impact of climate change.
So utilizing food web models in general, ecosystem models like EcoPath, EcoSim, EcoSpace, can be done at any stage. The process of developing these models it's a long process. Over time they will improve as we use the models more and more, and as we collect more data, the models will improve. But at each of these stages you can use them to look at the interactions between management decisions and the food web. And even though, again, they aren't perfect, you can still use them to make sense of what the likely impact of management decisions or scenarios will be on the food web. Those scenarios will vary between countries, between seas, and they'll depend a lot on the interests of stakeholders and policymakers in the different regions.
Stakeholders, planners and scientists will work together to develop it, but then once it's done, they can all start playing with it. And the nice thing with this platform is that they can all start playing with it together. So in the same maps and in the same environment, like in a workshop or a seminar. And this has all kinds of advantages because they will also learn from each other, from their own ideas and from their own analysis. So this contributes to what we call social learning among the stakeholders.
So I think EBFM cannot work if you don't incorporate stakeholders. It's really not for the scientists or the fisheries managers to make a decision about it, because if you don't incorporate people in decisions that will affect their lives, they will not follow your instructions. If we have that stakeholder engagement with people whose lives will be changed by the way we manage our fisheries, then you get buy-in from them, and then they actually are prepared to follow the rules. But also, stakeholders often have a lot of good information that you can incorporate, and if you don't get that information from them, you're only doing half your job.
This coupling of economic growth with sustainability is quite a complicated issue. Like, first of all, what is sustainability? What do you consider economic growth? Is it growth in terms of monetary terms, or is it growth in terms of your well-being? In this project, we are not only concerned about money, but we are concerned about all the values that the ecosystems and their species brings to our lives, and also the habitats. You can, by making the right choices, get more well-being out of an ecosystem.
The way that we manage human decisions, or the way that we understand these human decisions, will have an impact on the way that the fishery is managed itself. As to whether the fishery then has an impact on the lives of people, of course it does. From the consumption of the fish, to the earnings that people make, to the recreational value of the marine area and the coastal area that accompanies it, but also increasingly the intrinsic value that people care about, the intrinsic value of marine and other natural areas.
I think if we succeed in fulfilling all these tasks and objectives, definitely it will be a step forward for management of fisheries in Europe and around the world.